And well, hello there, I'm RJB from RJB TV, and tonight we're going to be joined by two Gosu fastest players playing a best of set, none other than 458 and Rabbit. The score, of course, at the moment still 0-0. So let's load up the game and see if you and I are ready for what these two fastest veterans have in store for you and I. I'm kind of the opinion that Rabbit is slightly underappreciated, underrated in the fastest community. Also, they're talking about doing a best of 5, so a best of 5 it will be. 458 said okay, that's kind of what it means, okay. So best of 5 it will be. Rabbit here on the bottom of the map, on the white Terran, 458 on the blue Protoss. And I slightly revised my rating system into just not doing a rating, but just doing a couple of strong points and a couple of weaknesses. And the plus or the minus indicates weakness or strength. Rabbit is highly experienced, and because of his experience has a lot of knowledge. I could even argue that Rabbit arguably has been playing fastest map 1 vs 1 maybe longer than anyone else on the Korean scene. Like, he has played a lot of 1v1. He's played with the foreigners as well. He's got a lot of experience in that sense. He's smart, always knows what to do. He's calm, and he's efficient. So like, when he's under pressure, when he's almost dying, or it looks like he's gonna die, he's always looking, combining the smartness, the calmness, and the efficiency to look for a way to adapt, which also, of course, plays into diversity and adaptability to the situation and try to win. But he also has 3 kind of weaker parts of his gameplay, and that's he's arguably one of the worst micro players out of the Gosu fastest players. His micro definitely is a weaker point. He's not bad at micro, but compared to everyone else at the top, his micro is weakest. And another thing is, even though he is smart, he tries to play too smart by trying to cut corners here and there, which is kind of risky, and sometimes he does die to taking those risks that are smart, but perhaps a little bit too risky. If they work out, he gets himself a big lead. If they fail, things fall apart. And lastly, he is much slower than everyone else. He's much, much slower, and it's noticeable in his gameplay that he is in fact slower than most people. Here he's going for one of the diverse build orders he has, and that is, of course, a double factory opening, by going for 8 refinery at 8 supply, and an 8 supply depot at 8 supply. That's what we call them, 8 supply depot, 8 refinery, and a barracks at 10 supply, and then you get, of course, double factory there in the back. It's a pretty strong build order. 458 went for the standard build order, also going to show his statistics here on the screen. I should remove that because I forgot to remove it. So 458 here, he's got a lot of experience, much like Rabbit, but the thing with 458 is he plays pretty much only 1 vs 1 against the Gosus, the streamers, the Burger Sasu, Brain, Rabbit, and Luckyback. And then we also have, of course, Minchel. He pretty much only plays 1 vs 1 against the top of the top. He's fast, got a good micro, macro, he's diverse, has a lot of different build orders, and he has a great eye for opportunity. He knows how to find weaknesses and to exploit them, because here he broke through. It's time to hide this overlay, because, I mean, he only plays... It's taken too long to go through the entire list. I should revise that. I should revise that list, because it's taken too long to go through the list. So Rabbit quickly adapts, cancels both the machine shops, because 458 is breaking through and attacking, hitting those SCVs in the back. Things are not looking pretty. 458 got himself a little advantage. He saw a weakness and immediately moves to exploit that weakness. I think about 5 or 6 SCVs have gone down. Yeah, 6 SCVs have definitely gone down. Maybe gonna get number 7. Oh yeah, that's number 7. So 7 SCVs in total, maybe even 8 died, and 2 more zealots arrive on the scene to kill even more SCVs. This is how you punish a double factory opening. And we can even argue that Rabbit played it too risky by, like, when the 2 factories first finished, he immediately started 2 machine shops. 2 machine shops before vultures, of course, means he cannot protect the front. So 458 was allowed to break through the front unopposed. And the zealots arrived in the back, the vultures hadn't even finished because he had to cancel the machine shops and then start bullying vultures, and that backfired pretty hard. That's exactly what I meant when I went through a list of Rabbit's weaknesses and strengths. He's smart, adapts quick, but he takes risks, and that was a risky move. It was a risky move to go for machine shops before a single vulture. If he had vultures, he would have protected the front, lost way fewer of his SCVs. And 4v8 is adapting to it really quick. He's adjusting to it really quick because he got a lot of information from that. And he also knows that Rabbit is pretty hurt from that attack earlier on. So he's not going all out with, he's not going for drops. He's in fact going for Dragoons and more gateways and more army. Got Dragoon range, they're finishing up, canceling his 2 gateways in the front. Also very smart to make 2 gateways in the front, just in case vultures are going for a counter-attack, with canceling those 2 gateways if the vultures aren't coming, because then you can go for a counter-attack or an attack with the Dragoons. Rabbit, though, is moving out. Dragoons are there to intercept. 1 vulture goes down. He's got 4 tanks, 4 vultures, pretty strong army, pretty strong push, but 458 is preparing for this. He knows this is coming, but Rabbit has to go all out. Rabbit lost so much at the start, he has to more or less go all out. He also doesn't know where 458 is. He still has to scout, and that's why he went to the side here to check the side. Didn't find him there. Now finds him here at the front. 2 gateways once again coming out for 458 to buy some time to make sure those vultures don't get in. Got cannons in the back to protect the probes, so the probes are not in danger of getting attacked by vultures running in, running by, and attacking those probes. So he's 458 has experienced 2 factory build orders so often, he knows exactly what to do. Ooh, he's scaring him. He wanted to unload on top of the tanks, but kind of realized that he's unsieging, he's got vultures. Unloading zealots now wouldn't do too much. He might still use zealots to unload next to the tanks to drag the mines into the tanks. Maybe that's his idea. Oh yes! The mines not exploding on the tanks, but he's pushing forward. Pretty good attack. There's a mine being dragged into the tank there. Really good push here from 458, and Rabbit immediately calls GG because that was pretty much an all-in attack there from Rabbit. He had to go all in after taking so much damage early on, and 458 just went for big gateway army, 1 shuttle. Reaver was just being queued up. Level 1 attack there on the way, zealot speed. That was a really good way of punishing a 2 factory opening that went for double machine shop before going for a single vulture. So a really good punish there from 458 onto Rabbit. And we've got more games today. We've got more games. Like the last couple of videos, I've been doing 1 game per video, but this time around, that game was so short, we're gonna add on another game. And this one is gonna be really long. Usually I kind of avoid the really long replays because they are very exhausting to cast. They are very exhausting to cast. The really long replays are exhausting, and this one is gonna be a long one. But I wanted to do a really long replay because really long replays, you just see so many different things happening. So many good things happening. And it's a shame not to cast the really long replays because I know I love them. I know you love them. Because you get to see all the crazy stuff. You get to see maxed out armies. You get to see all the technology, the diversity, everything you can imagine. You get to see it in those very long games. They're epic games, to say the least. 458 going for Midgate. Rabbit here on the Zerg. Right next to him, he picked Zerg against Protoss. Also, let's have a quick look one more time at 458's strengths and weaknesses. Like last game I did say he adapted quick, but there's a little bit of a weird thing with 458's adaptability. He can get stuck in one modus of functioning, or he just does the same thing over and over for a very long period of time. So we have building a base. Like at some point he just puts all of his actions into attacking, not into building. which also plays into his adaptability. And he only plays Protoss. He's weak at everything else. Well, I wouldn't say weak, but considerably weaker at Terran and Zerg than he is at Protoss. But yeah, so he has two really well-defined weaknesses. He gets stuck in doing the same thing for a very long time. And that can backfire really hard because he's not building anything. So when the opponent breaks free from his attacks and goes for a counterattack and attacks him, he tends to die instantly. So the very first counterattack, he dies instantly. Rarely survives, although maybe over time, because this is a game from 2022, maybe over the years since we started casting 458, maybe he has grown out of that inability to keep building a base, to keep building more structures all over the map, to get a good amount of gateways. He tends to get stuck on low amounts of gateways. But as you can see, his adaptability is still pretty damn good in the scenarios where he gets attacked or rushed by something. This is where he's very strong. Although he's losing probes, which is very, very bad, Rabbit gets a good first punch out on 458. That one really did hurt. Luckily, he's got a second Nexus, so he's going to recover from that a little bit. But a Zerg killing your probes is always a very, very bad thing. Gets 2 more probe kills. He's down on probes even. This is something that should never, ever happen in Protoss against Zerg, is a Protoss having fewer probes than drones. This means Rabbit is going to be ahead of 458 for a very long time. 458 is playing from behind. This scenario also means that Rabbit doesn't need a whole lot of Sunkens, and he's even built a really smart choke here, where he uses the egg to block off the path into the base, which means he only needs 2 or 3 Sunkens behind the hatcheries to protect his choke. He can just wall off with the larva right there inside that choke, right inside the pathway. Rabbit has set himself up with an absolutely perfect scenario where 458 is in some trouble. 458 is in some trouble. That's the only way I can explain the situation we're in right now. Rabbit here, as you can see, because he knows that 458 cannot attack him anytime soon, is going for a lot of hatcheries. A lot of hatcheries. Got the OFO there hanging in the base, flying around, looking for the Cyber Core. No Cyber Core on the way. 458 is going for triple Nexus, no Cyber Core, no gas, getting a choke there in the front. 458 knows he's got no chance killing Rabbit in the early or the mid game. He's going to try and become richer than Rabbit, which is a difficult task because of that damage he took early on. It was probes. Losing the probes has set him up for a very difficult game. The gas is finally coming out. He's back on 24 probes. The double Nexus is allowing him to recover his workers, but if he hadn't lost 6 probes, he would now be at about 31, maybe 32 probes in total, as opposed to Rabbit's 24 drones. So yeah, the lead is there. And you can see the egg in action there. Zealots can't get through. The egg seals off the passage, seals off the front door, locked and protected, barred from entry. This is the club that 458 is not allowed into. So Rabbit now adding a lot of hatcheries in the back. He's got 6 hatcheries in the back, 2 in the front, total of 8. Might go for number 9. That's a high-risk den, but not number 9. So even Rabbit draws a line at the magic number of 8. He's got triple gas, 1 drill on the way, 2 already mining. Now on 34 drones, he definitely is going to stay ahead of 458 economically. Even though 458 is trying really hard to recover economically, he's just never going to catch up because Rabbit made so many hatcheries. And that Overlord flying back and forth here is keeping watch on 458's plans. Keeping watch on what 458 is doing. He's got a robot there on the way in the front, and a Stargate there on the way on the bottom? Stargate on the bottom. So it's going to take a while before we are going to see any real action from happening, because both players are now kind of playing the pure long economy gun. The long economy game. Both players just playing for the long game, going all in on economy. There's 2 Hydralisks, but nothing else. And that is of course because Rabbit knows Robos aren't finished yet. He knows Robos aren't finished yet. So he can just keep droning and droning and droning until he hits 50, 60, maybe even 70 drones. He does have more Hydralisks on the way right now because he knows that 6:30 should be about the time of the game where 458 starts finishing his Robos. And he finished at 6:42. Stargate finished up. Corsair is coming out. He has to kill the Corsair as well. Still has only 2 Sunkas in the front. Also 1 Hydralisk then in the front. And yeah, the production is ramping up. He's got 9th hatchery there on the way. Getting double Evo chamber. Getting... Oh, Corsair comes in. Gathers the information. Sees the sheer amount of hatcheries. Sheer amount of hatcheries. So Rabbit played that one pretty smart. Early rush. Then get a choke. A double hatchery choke. And then a whole lot of hatcheries off of the back of hurting 458. Who's now trying to do a little bit of damage in return, but this is basically no damage at all. This is tickling him. He's tickling him with some Corsairs on the sides. It's not really hurting him too much. Got a pretty good army of Zealots, but the Sunkens there in the front, of course, are never gonna get hit, because he still has the eggs to wall off the front. Overlord does go down there though in his supply block for a little bit. We've got Overlord transportation. Well, Overlord speed on the way. Hydralisk range finished up as well. We'll soon get level 1 attack and armor for his Hydralisks. He's got 61 drones, so yeah, he only started making mass Hydras to defend himself against shuttle drops after he had about 60 drones in total, which is a very high amount. A couple of drones being pulled to the front to build some Sunkens there on the side. Yeah, 458 is in for a difficult game. He does have more probes, about 70. Does have more probes, but his army is significantly smaller. There's a lot of Hydralisks here in between to intercept those shuttles. It's going to be difficult to get in. It's going to be difficult to kill the drones. Also, Overlords being, well, Zerglings being spread out all over the map. Overlords as well. He's got a lot of vision from the right side, at the middle. But 458 probably is going to go attack here from the left. It's the easiest way in. It's the shortest way in. But it also makes his attacks a little bit predictable because the Rabbit can just place his Hydralisks against the wall right here, just like this. And yeah, as I said before, 458 has a difficult task ahead of him. There's a lot of Robos though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 Robos. 2 more hatcheries here from Rabbit. Yeah, things are looking great for Rabbit. 67 drones, 66 drones, 82 probes there for 458. He's overshooting the mark a little bit. But that often happens with Triple Nexus. You can easily overshoot. It does take a little while for all the probes on your minerals to start mining at maximum speed. And during this small little time frame where they start mining, and then they start mining at the maximum speed, during that small little time frame, you can overshoot the amount of probes you actually need by like 5 or 10. And we're now already 10 over the magic number. He's currently on 5 gas, getting scarab damage. He's not going to attack before 10 minutes because we just hit the 10-minute mark. He's almost maxed out on supply. 91 probes, getting even more probes. Going to fill out the remaining gas as well, because he's going to rely a lot on very expensive Reavers and Corsairs. So Stargates are on the way, getting a fleet beacon as well, probably for Disruption Web. I don't think he's going to go for carriers. Don't think I've ever seen 458 go for carriers in Protoss against Zerg. Rabbit has prepared himself very well, some 74 drones in total and 177 supply. He's big, he's really big, and only 10 minutes in. He starts off with a frontal attack to take down those hatcheries, to open up the front. Rabbit quickly pulling drones to the front to start building more Sunkens, because he probably needs more Sunkens right there. He could also just burrow up some Lurkers in the front, but the Lurkers are currently on the side and in the back to protect the drones and to protect this very common unload point. Zealous going in, Reavers pushing forward. Reavers have trouble shooting around the corner here. It's a very common thing on this map. Reavers have trouble shooting around the corners. That's why he's building his Sunkens around the corner. He's not building them all here in one big block. He's building them around the corner because Reavers can't shoot around the corner. They have to physically walk up to here before they can shoot, and then they are in Sunken range. So this is a very smart thing to keep in mind when you're playing on this map. with the 6 and 12 spawns, build those sunken around the corner. Makes it very, very difficult for the Protoss to push through with the Reavers. Very, very difficult. More lurkers finishing up there in the back for Rabbit. He's got a hive finished up and a Greater Spire, or a regular Spire on the way. He's got 8 hatches on the side. So 3 more here, that's 11. And the 2 in the front went down, so currently only on 11. Got 77 drones, 82 drones. Drop comes in from 458. Rabbit isn't responding to it yet. Starts loading on the scene, but the Hydralisk and the Reavers... Not the Reavers. I mean, the Reavers are there, but the Reavers are not doing anything at all because the Lurkers and the Hydralisks take them down so damn quick that they can't even get the opportunity to fire on the drones. So the drones all do stay alive. He did get a couple shots up on Hydralisk, but Hydralisk dying, Rabbit doesn't care. And I'm not even sure if he cares about his drones dying at this point because he's got almost 5,000 minerals. He can rebuild all those drones really quick. It's 600 minerals per 12 drones. He's got a lot of larvae. He can rebuild those drones really quick. Really, really quick. So lurkers all over the place. 4v8 is in trouble. He's got Corsairs. He's going for carriers after all. This is going to be the very first time I'm going to see 4v8 go for carriers in Protoss against Zerg. It's going to be carriers with shuttles and the Reavers, Zealots and Templars in the mix of course as well. But it's going to be carriers. This is going to be the very first time. I'm kind of hyped. Usually I am not too excited about carriers in Protoss against Zerg. But because it's 4v8 doing it for the very first time, at least the very first time that I'm seeing it, I'm kind of hyped. Reavers unloading on the right. Cannot shoot on the drones. Wait, he gets a shot off, but Scarab is getting blocked. Rabbit pulled just in time. You need a very strong pullout game. I said it before, a pullout game, very important. Gotta get those drones right out of there, because you don't want to get anything sticky on top of them. Also notice how 4v8 is kind of not building much production on the right side. It's pretty much all on the left side, because when Rabbit gets Guardians, this is going to go down first. So it's largely going to be cannons right here. And its production is going to be coming out from the left side, where Guardians cannot kill it. At least, not kill it quickly. They're going to have to kill a lot of cannons and Templars first, before they will arrive at the production here in the back. Reavers, carriers, shuttles. We're 14 minutes in. It's time for real action to start happening. Rabbit doesn't know it's going to be carriers. He's not expecting carriers. He's expecting, I assume, Reaver drops. Mass Reaver drops anywhere in his base. Because that's why he's got all those sunkens, those spores, those lurkers spread about all over the left side. Because he's expecting Reavers. Some shuttles getting thrown away. Shuttle coming out from the right side. The left side shuttles were a distraction. He gets sniped out of the air. A Rabbit is not going to let it slip by because he got vision all over the map. Getting another 7 hatcheries and 2 more there, so a total of 9 being added on. Make that 10. Rabbit is gonna go for the mass production. He will have more production than 458 because 458 has 9 Stargates and 7 gateways. Gateways largely for Templars, I assume. Not really gonna build a whole lot of Zealots or Dragoons. Largely gonna rely on the carriers. He's got, I think, 11 of them in total. 11 of them in total. Might be one more, but I assume it's 11. Might go for Arbiters in the future as well. Small amount of Reavers there in the front, waiting. Shuttles waiting for them to be picked up. There's upgrades at the moment. I can't see them. I can't see them for ground, and only for air, like 1 armor, no shield. Got shield, weapon, and armor all on the way. Getting ground armor as well, so he's going to go for all the upgrades, even though he doesn't have a lot of ground army production, probably to make the Templars a little bit stronger, because Templars do benefit from level 1 armor upgrade. And double the fighter mount there coming out from Rabbit. He's currently, for his Hydralisks, already on 2-2. Spire, can we see the air? We cannot really see the air. Wait, there they are. So 1 Carapace, no attack yet. Disruption Web coming out for Corsairs, but there's no Corsairs anywhere in the base at all. He's going to throw away a couple probes later on, I'm sure. Scorch's scouting sees only, well, actually they're called Scorches. Scorches. Someone when I streamed last week told me it's called Scorches, so I'm gonna say Scorches from now on instead of Scorches. Scorches kills the queen and snare on the carriers. Got them devourers in the back. Hylisks are great against interceptors. So let me check the air upgrades on interceptors. Got 2 attack, 1 shield, 1 armor. Drop comes in. Hylisk, oh, he dropped the loading on the bottom corner. He's got an observer there. So lurkers are going down, storming on something at least. Very slowly pushing forward. Most of the scarabs have gone down. Reavers are killing Hylisk really well. This is a combination that I like, but he's not gaining a lot of ground. Well, he killed 5 spores, a bunch of hydras, probably a couple of lurkers as well. But Rabbit now has a little bit of time to recover because Forfeit has to build new Reavers. He has to wait for more Reavers to come out before he can pick them up. And the Devourers are doing a great job in weakening up those interceptors, making them easier to kill for the Hylisks. And then of course, maybe the carriers themselves are also taking small amounts of damage as they push forward. It's just very difficult to hit the carriers when they're hanging here on the hill. So the fighter is out. He's gonna plague as soon as he can. I don't see any shield battery, so a plague on the carriers might actually be pretty dangerous for 458. He's gonna need a couple more Stargates if he wants to be able to rebuild his carrier army quickly. Or perhaps shield batteries to heal up those shields in the case those carriers do get plagued time and time again. Guardians are on the scene now as well. Starts loading. There's no observer. Oh, there's an observer. It's near the carriers. Reaver killing the lurkers, but the Hydras killing the Reavers. So the Reavers, well, they clean up one lurker, but then they both get taken down. Mass spores coming down there from Rabbit. This game is going to be a whole lot of fighting over this hillside. Whoever controls the hillside controls the game. And so far, both players have for the past 3 minutes been fighting for control over this area because this is, this is where their bases connect. And whoever controls this point has control over the other. We're going to see a whole lot of back and forth, probably a very long stalemate, fighting over this hill. Got Guardians for the Reavers, Devourers for the Carriers, the Fighter for the Carriers as well, and Lurkers on the low ground for anything that unloads here on the corner. So Probe's now being thrown away, he needs more supply space, he's going to throw away 12, maybe 24. Once you have Carriers, you don't really need a whole lot of income because Interceptors are kind of cheap and they tend to not die that quick. Although against Devourers, maybe they do. Maybe they do. So he's got a shuttle with a Dark Archon inside. What is a Templar? I did see a Dark Archon earlier, but he's not sending it in yet because he doesn't think he can get mind control on the drone. Unloads Reavers are on the scene. There's no observers. Well, the observer is too far away. They do kill some lurkers, kill the hatchery as well. Templar on the hill. Gonna get killed by a Guardian. Can't fight back. Look at the poor Templar getting taken down. Bam, boom, it's gone. Poor Templar stuck on the hill with nowhere left to run. The Dark Archon is in the back, so he might have gotten it just for Maelstrom, and not for actually using mind control, because Maelstrom is pretty damn good against Muladisks that are trying to kill your Nexus, so the Maelstrom freezes them up in the air, and then of course you can storm to death really quick and easily. Mass Corsairs on the scene. Not really going for more Reavers. He's going for Corsairs probably to use Disruption Web. A lot of spores being built. Like Rabbit is just building mass spores all over the side. This is going to be so difficult to come in. Oh! He storm dropped him. He came in from the right side. Just flew all the way around through Overlord Vision. Because it's Overlord Vision everywhere. And the shuttle drop hit him right in the kisser. Right in the face. Right on the drones. Right in the economy. And Rabbit did notice he's rebuilding his drones. He's got a lot of money though, so it didn't really hurt him. Like 458 is gonna have to hit Rabbit a whole lot of times, very often, very consistently for Rabbit to run out of money. And getting those drops and those storms off on the drones is difficult because, as I said before, vision everywhere on the map. Got lurkers all over the place. It's difficult to kill those drones. It's already back on 74 and only lost, I'd say, about 2,000 minerals. Didn't really hurt him too much. Got stasis coming out there for 458. And getting the final upgrades is disruption webbing on everything. Plague and snare. Very slow carriers getting closer to that hive. He's going to try to kill the hive. Hive is taking a lot of damage, but the carriers are getting absolutely demolished and they're all gone. That took only 15 seconds of flying in, getting slowed down, getting plagued, and dying pretty much instantly. But he did take down over 1,000 health from that hive. So that, I'm not sure if it was worth it, because now we have a very large time window for Rabbit to start a counter-attack on the front or on the side. Not sure what he's going to do. Maybe he's going to sit and wait. Maybe he's going to sit and wait. Guardians are moving out, so the Guardians are going to attack. Orvate is progressing his cannons into the middle. He's got a proximator on the top for gateways. That's a lot of gateways. And Rabbit has no vision over the entire top side of the map, so Rabbit probably doesn't know that gateways are being built on the top. Got Arbiter coming out, more carriers, and even more shuttles with Reavers waiting to finish off that hive. He has to land somewhere around here, because this is the one spot where the Reavers do not instantly die. Get some shots off on that hive and kill the hive. That's his goal, taking down the hive. Is he gonna get it though? That's the big question. Is he gonna kill the hive? Or is he just gonna throw units down the meat grinder non-stop and not make progress? I've seen it happen before, where a player wants to kill the hive, but never actually gets far. Never actually gets it done. Gonna fly in over the front. Pretty much no spores here. Actually, no spores at all. Finds the sweet spot. He has been dropping here before. Unloads the Reavers. Gonna go for the hive. Hive is pretty much already dead and gone. Pretty much already dead and gone. Scarab's doing a lot of damage. Only 355 HP remaining on the hive. Rabbit is gonna have to protect that really, really well. Now, of course, losing the hive itself doesn't mean the game is lost. It just makes his income a little bit lower. And in the case where he burns through his income really quick, that might become a problem. But in the case where we kind of stay in a game like this, where both players are kind of fighting over the hillside, then the Rabbit is not going to burn through his money very quick. Although, going for an attack, all the Reavers just died. He sees this as a moment to push forward. Got the Father on the scene, throws out a Dark Swarm. There's Templars there though, ready to storm those Hydralisks to death. So that's a lot of that Hydralisk, but he's pushing forward under the Dark Swarm. Got a Plague coming down on all the carriers and Corsairs. So that is a pretty big hit, but the Reavers have finished up behind those cannons. So Rabbit is not ever gonna break through, not ever gonna get too far. Did kill about 20 cannons in total, maybe even, well, 20, make that 30 cannons dead and gone. He did make some progress, but 4 of 8 should be able to rebuild everything pretty easily. Although now the Guardians pushing forward, ready to finish off what those Hydralisks started. Zerglings coming in as well, but Reavers are on the scene. Reavers are not gonna let those Zerglings do anything except dying and feeding kills onto those Reavers. Okay, the Spores are absolutely destroying the Interceptors. Carriers at this point are completely useless. It's got a lot of carriers, but all the Interceptors with the Devourers are weakening those Interceptors so much. Like, damn, look at, oh no, carriers moving forward. They lost all their Interceptors. Rebuilding, flying right into the Hydralisks. A lot of carriers are going down pretty quick. It's a lot of very low HP carriers with pretty much no HP at all. Reavers getting plagued as well. Reavers going down, but there's too many Reavers. And now an Arbiter in the air. No detection. Reavers are safe and fine. He saved the front. Rabbit is making progress. Great stasis on those Devourers. Gonna make those carriers a little bit stronger. More Hydras coming out. Both players are pretty much completely maxed out on upgrades. One more attack upgrade coming out for the air for Rabbit. One more armor upgrade coming down for the ground for 458. He's building Dragoons at his proxy base right here. He's building Dragoons, so he's planning on switching over into a ground army away from the carriers. Getting a lot more Corsairs as well. He no longer believes in the carriers. So he did do a big hit on the hive with the carriers, followed up by a bigger Reaver hit. But now he no longer believes the carriers are the answer because the carriers are dying too damn fast. And 458 successfully defends his front. Rabbit couldn't break through, but Rabbit did kill 30, maybe even 40 cannons in total, which is some ground gained. But 458 now is taking that ground back pretty much instantly. Like, you can just throw down cannons so fast with those probes. You get those cannons back in about a minute, maybe even less. So Guardians are finishing up. Gonna try to go for another attack. Horses on the side there. We've got 50 spores here on the left side. No spores on the right side, because who needs spores on the right side when your opponent is right next to you on the left? You don't need those spores on the left side. I mean, the right side. The double Ultilis Cavern as well. Got more Guardians and Devourers on the way. His gas is pretty damn high. Is he mining gas from this one? He's ignoring the gas all the way on the left. So he's got 9 gas. He doesn't want a drone to get mind controlled. Got a Devourer there on the high ground. Gets taken down. Tried to plague on something, but missed the plague. There's a big drop. A lot of Corsairs. A lot of shuttles. Gonna get some disruption webs down onto the spores for sure. Pushing those Guardians back for now. And snare on the Corsairs. Gonna make it difficult to fly through. Guardians are pushing forward all over the length of that left side, right side. Depends on perspective. For Rabbit, it's the left side. For 458, it's the right side. Red against blue. It is an army in the air pushing onto 458. And 458 is losing ground pretty quick. Losing ground pretty quick. There's Templars all over the place trying to storm and kill the Guardians. Got a drop there full with Reavers waiting on the corner. And snare is ended. He's coming in. Rabbit isn't ensnaring. He didn't notice. Arriving on the scene. Gonna unload and kill that hive. Let's select the hive and see how quick it's gonna go down. Find sweet spot. Disruption was coming down to protect the Reavers. Lurkers not allowed to kill. And he gets the drones and the hive both at the same time, getting a lot of other production structures as well, getting technology, getting Hylix dens, getting Evo chambers, getting spawning pools, killing a whole lot here, killing even more drones on the gas. This is a beautiful drop there from 458, finds sweet spot, and of course the Corsairs allowed it and facilitated it with those disruption webs to hit those lurkers and render them unable to participate. Now we've got a huge army of Guardians of Ours here on the scene, pushing forward into 458's base. 458 is taking heavy losses, with Templars in the back there, waiting for their time to strike and clear the skies with the storm that is going to be the storm that ends their lives. Coming in, blanketing the skies with storms and lightning, and the lightning does turn out to, well, not clear out the skies entirely, but, you know, killed about half the Guardians. More storms coming down, a lot of them, a lot of Templars. Reavers are in production for yet another drop right on top of those drones next to the lost hive. Horses in the air getting pulled into the spores. This is a huge back and forth of epic proportions and pretty much all late game high-end technology. So even more mutas are on the way. He's building 20 at the moment. Lurkers are migrating from the back, probably towards the middle, because there's Dragoons coming from the 12 o'clock spawn location to try and flank the Guardians attacking the front. Dragoons are going to try to save the day, but nope, not going to happen. No detection in the front. Lurkers doing a lot of damage, but Dragoons are kind of ignoring the Lurkers, taking heavy damage from doing so, but they have to just walk through, protect the Guardians. Guardians splitting up, breaking through the front. The Devourers relocating to hit those Corsairs. This is Rabbit playing at peak levels. You don't need high APM. You don't need high APM. If you're smart and efficient and know what to do, you can go a very long way against very good Protoss players. Against very, very good Protoss players. The Guardians target firing on the Reavers. Reavers are getting pulled back. But they're still dying. They're pretty damn slow. Got Observer in the front. Overlord's there as well to detect the Observer. Rabbit kind of ignoring the Observer for now, so the Dragoons are going to push forward and kill the Lurkers and open up this pathway to allow them to flank from that proxy gateway base. Both players are kind of burning through their money. Both players below 10,000. They were almost at 20,000 each earlier. So they are producing as if their lives depend on it, and they do. Observer got taken down by the Hydras. Got a Queen there in the front, waiting for an ensnare. Got more Guardians coming out there on the side. Templars are waiting for their storms, but they don't have energy yet. These Guardians are going to gain a whole lot of ground. 4-8 really needs this proxy gateway base to save his life. His life depends on it. The proxy gateway base is keeping him in the game by intercepting all of the units coming from the base through this pathway. Great ensnare, Observer on the scene, Lurkers morphing, Guardians pushing forward, no Devars on the scene, just 3 Hydralisks down on the ground to kill the Corsairs. And more Corsairs keep spawning. Got a Reaver there waiting in the back. The Corsairs is going to kill all them Guardians. Got a couple more Hydras coming from the base, walking through the pathway. There's a Dark Swarm there to protect. The Dark Swarm is protecting the Dragoons, but also slowing them down. Lurker's trying to get underneath it. Throws down a second Dark Swarm. Gonna have to walk out of that really quick. Dragoons are coming right through, but there's so many Hydras in the base. Most of the Guardians did go down to Storms and Corsairs, but now Hydras are in the base, replacing the Guardians, pushing forward, but Rabbit is running out of money. Rabbit is down to 4,000 minerals, and about a minute ago, he was on 9,000. So yeah, he's burning through his money. Only has 55 drones, only has 2,000 gas. He's burning really... He's burning through it so damn fast, because Guardians and Immunolisks are really expensive. That's largely why he's pretty much only making Hydralisks at the moment, trying to end the game before he runs out of money, before he runs out of gas. He's got 12 more Immunolisks on the way. His gas below 1,000, minerals below 3,000. Another Dark Swarm there, right next to the cannons, gonna try to cover this little last bit of ground. Great Maelstrom on the Guardians in the air, but Dark Swarm keeps protecting. Got the Corsairs coming in to kill the Guardians. More Dark Swarms coming down to protect those Hydralisks. He needs a Reaver here on the bottom side, but they're pretty much all on the top side here. Pretty much all on the top side. Rabbit is absolutely destroying 4-5-8's base. Lost your Hive. Well, don't fret. Don't panic. Just keep on going. Make a plan and attack, and don't make mistakes. Although now we got a big army coming from the backside there. Gonna clear out the base, probably just in time. Although all the probes are going down, the probes are dying. Got some Lurkers morphing. Another Dark Swarm is gonna come down here because he's got the fighter on the scene. But he needs... Oh, the fighter's gonna get sniped. Arguably gonna get sniped. Kills it. No Dark Swarm in the back, so the Lurkers are gonna burrow, but they're not really gonna do a whole lot. Storms on the Lurkers. Lurkers do go down. I mean, the backside here for 4-5-8 is pretty much all dead and gone. Still does have double Nexus, but no more main Nexus. He is, I believe, building a Nexus right here. Start mining money from the 12 o'clock spawn location. So to clear out the infestation right here in his base. Got 84 drones there for Rabbit and only 8 for 4-5-8. He is in trouble. Make it 9, but he's still in a whole lot of trouble. He's got 8,000 minerals. Probably enough to recover. He's going to have to deal with this army attacking his northern base first. He's not going to be allowed to recover in peace. He's going to get attacked non-stop all the time, as long as Rabbit has money to build new units. Or, you know, gas to build new units, because his gas is really, really, really low. His gas is really, really low. But Dragoons, pretty strong. Templars, even better. Arguably the best unit on fastest map. The Templar, allowing him to take control back over the middle, although he still has these very annoying, these Lurkers blocking that entrance to his main base. But he's rebuilding, building cannons, building probes, back on 17. Rabbit is so damn low on both minerals and gas, losing that hive, really hurting his economy really, really badly. He's building this new spawning pool because he hadn't rebuilt a spawning pool all this time. Big army moving into the middle, pushing those Dragoons, getting a great surround, sniping the Templars. Guardians moving to the north as well. Gonna try to end that proxy gateway base. There's a lot of production happening, not here, but at the main base. He's giving up this proxy base. He's giving up on the proxy base. His main base is what he needs to survive, not the proxy base. Because a lot of Reavers right here, a lot of Corsairs as well, and a lot of Dragoons. Pretty much at this point, whatever you throw at this army, it's all gonna die. Ground army doesn't stand a chance against the Reavers. And Guardians, he can't make a lot of Guardians. He doesn't have enough gas to just get 20 Guardians at the same time. He's burned through all his gas, so it's going to be difficult to kill 4 of 8 at this point. It's going to take Rabbit probably a couple 10 more minutes to kill him, if he can kill him. Because 4 of 8 is, well, has a little bit more money, but has a whole lot less probes. His army is bigger though. He's got a really big army. He's almost maxed out on 29 probes. So that means he has a lot of army here in the air. A lot of Arbiters, Corsairs, Reavers, and Guardians. Well, Guardians, Dragoons. Doesn't have a single Guardian. Does not have a single Guardian. So Rabbit, low on money. Trying to keep up the pressure, but the limitations of his economy are holding him back. But at least he's killing this northern base. Built the pylons first, gateways second. And 4 of 8 recovering. He's on 32 probes, building more. Getting new gateways, getting new pylons. Probably needs a whole lot of new cannons. There's a lot of observers in the air. A lot of observers in the air. Yeah, both players are kind of recovering from their big spending spree. 4 of 8 is recovering from losing his base. Rabbit went on a spending spree, spend it all, and now a little bit of the game has calmed down a little bit. Both players just recovering from that 20 minutes of combat that we saw just now. Just recovering, licking their wounds. Although I spoke too soon, Rabbit is going right back to the attack. Took a small little break. He's already putting the pressure back on 458. Could have pushed those Guardians away, but we have the Varus. They're in the back. Although they didn't attack. But no, he's keeping 458 on his toes. Keeping him on his toes. Now on 39 probes. I do wonder how this is going to end. I've got really high expectations of Rabbit's situation right now because he is in a better situation. But cracking this cookie is going to be difficult. Breaking this defense is going to be very difficult because we have over 12 Reavers. Okay? Over 12 Reavers. And a lot of Arbiters. And Arbiters are a pain in the ass with their stasis. They really are. So Rabbit is sticking to the Guardians. He's mining from 12 extractors, although I don't think every single extractor has 12 drones at the moment. 3 drones. Because he lost drones earlier to Reavers, and it's kind of difficult to exactly determine in the heat of the moment, during the heat of battle, how many drones are mining from each extractor individually. Drop coming out. 2 shuttles made it through, arriving on the scene. Reavers shooting on... They are too far away, but they won. He kills 3 drones, but 3 drones is not what he wanted. He wanted way more. The Lurkers doing their job. The Varus clearing the skies yet again. So that's going to be a very big hallucinated recall, I assume. He's going to try to fly over the front side. Does he have Queens, though? Because Queen and Snare cancels the hallucination. So Guardian attack coming out once again. Going for a frontal Arbiter recall. We've got the Queen not moving. Arbiter coming up. Plague clears out all of the hallucinations and decides not to recall. He decided not to recall. I don't know why, but he had a chance, but he decided against it. He decided against it. Arguably because there's a big army waiting to attack him. Sometimes it's better not to recall than it is to recall. Because look at the army that's waiting to strike from Rabbit when 458 loses supply. So 458 tried, couldn't quite get in there. Gonna try again. I think he's gonna try again. So I do see some hallucinated arbiters dancing about in the front here. Gonna fly all the way around, look for a way in. Let's hope there's not a plague that's gonna clear out those arbiters. He's flying all the way around. But Rabbit knows that he's flying all the way around because he saw the arbiters leaving with those guardians. Gonna try to snipe them arbiters out of the air before they arrive in the base. But oh, just got a plague again. Plague kills the arbiters, finds the arbiter, kills the arbiter. So hallucinated arbiters, you can just throw an ensnare or a plague, and that's all you need. That's all you need against hallucinations. So 458 is forced to stand with his back against the wall, and Rabbit has to just stabilize, build some gas, build a bank, and attack yet again. He's been keeping 458 from finishing his base with some small guardian attacks back and forth over time, just keeping 458 from being comfortable, not giving him time to get cannons all over the place like he did earlier. And 458 is looking for ways in, but he can't quite find them. Arbiter right there on the scene, gonna try to recall on the drone. The Arbiter goes all the way through, starts to recall. Reavers everywhere, and we got some Dragoons in the mix as well, Templars as well, but the drones ran away to safety. All of them are safe and sound. The Observer is pretty far away. Storming on the Guardians, storming on the Devourers, getting out of the way. Killing the Lurkers. He killed a lot of Lurkers, but he basically killed a lot of units, but didn't kill a single drone that mattered. And that's the drones on the minerals. They pretty much all stayed alive. Did kill some drones on the gas. I do think he cleared out 4 of the extractors. Not entirely, but partially. Which also, of course, does hurt Rabbit a little bit. But all he has to do is put some new drones on the gas. Small frontal attack there coming from the north. Changing the attack angle to the north from the side. Nope, it's going to be a northern attack. He's feeling the north. Recalls behind the hill. Plagues on the recall. Ensnares on the recall as well. Templar storming, clearing out the Guardians. The Guardians are still largely alive. Misses a storm. Rabbit has got some great spell casting. But now we've got an attack coming from the bottom side while those units just got recalled away from the base. Here on the top side. Dragoons clearing out the air. But now the bottom side is getting cleared out by a small group of Guardians. More Guardians coming from the side. Rabbit has waited for long enough. He's got a lot of Guardians ready to go, ready to shoot, ready to clear out this base. 458 is trying to defend, but he needs a whole lot of production. He just lost a lot of units to the recall, and now that he lost units to the recall, it's going to be easier for 458 to get ran over by Rabbit. Rabbit is pushing because there's nothing much opposing him. That's the downside of that recall he did on the drones here in the backside of Rabbit's base. It took him a lot of supply, and he didn't have a lot to rebuild that supply. He had 8 gateways, now 4. He had 4 robos. So yeah, not a whole lot to rebuild with. Sniping Templars with the Mutas, dancing back and forth, Guardians pushing forward, the Dragoons are coming from the bottom to the top side, trying to clear out those Guardians from the side. Got an Arbiter with a Stasis, locking some of them Guardians up, but that's a whole lot of Guardians, a whole lot of Mutas. Not a whole lot of Dragoons, and no Storms at all, except those 3 Templars waiting on the side, building energy, but more Templars coming, or Mutas coming in. Getting on top of that Arbiter. The fact that there's so many Reavers really is perfect for those Mutalisks. With the Mutas stuck in stasis, Holly gotta have to wait. He's gonna have to wait for the Guardians to get out of stasis to push forward with the rest of his army. That's a lot of supply stuck in stasis right here. A lot of supply stuck in stasis. 458 still in the game. Hasn't given up yet. Is still in the race. Guardians are free. They gotta run. They gotta run real quick. To the hills. Run to the hills. So the Mutas are sniping the Templars. Templars are morphing into Archons. One more Templar left alive, gonna try to take that down. Reavers are on the scene, but Reavers can only kill the Hydras. And there's a lot of Guardians coming from the left, and the top, and the front, from every single direction, getting us around. Reavers crawling back and forth. They're panicking. There's nowhere to go. It's time to push forward. Got some production going on from those 5 gateways, not a whole lot. 1 Templar on the scene, Guardians killing the Reavers, which means that now the ground army has the opportunity to move forward and clear out the rest of the base. Rabbit has persevered. 458 has tried to persevere himself as well, but he couldn't persevere enough because Nez is gonna spell the end of the game. Corsairs sniping the Arbiters. He could really use his stasis right now. He could really use a stasis, and there they come. They do, I want to say, save the game, but Morbius are arriving on the scene. Still 1 Guardian in the air. Hydras on top of the Reavers. The Zerglings participating, contributing, finishing them off. And I think this is gonna be a GG. Well, maybe not yet, although 458 supply is down to 120. He's rebuilding cannons, he's trying to build a new army, but he just doesn't have the production. Like, 5 gateways, 6 gateways, holding number 7, 4 robos, 8 stargates, that's something, but doesn't have the gas to build more Arbiters or more Carriers or Corsairs. Now a lot of Guardians pushing forward, all the Reavers are dead and gone. All the Reavers are dead and gone, there's only cannons, 1 Templar, Templar gets sniped. And 458 calls GG. Rabbit wins after 47 minutes and 28 seconds of a beautiful back and forth of 2 hard-hitting players playing smart, but 1 player just playing a little bit smarter, a little bit more precise, and slowly wrestling control out of the hands of 458. Rabbit wins the game. Beautifully played. Let's give him a win and say our goodbyes, because this is the end of this game. We got more games coming up because this is a best of 5, so we're going to continue on in the next video. So please do return. I hope you enjoyed this match. Rabbit against 458, truly an epic battle. Let's hope the next games are going to be just as epic, if not more epic than this one.